طيب دلوقتي احنا معانا طبعا نرحب بسيادة السفير، طبعا سفير التشيك اللي هينورنا دلوقتي ويقول كلمته. اتفضل سيادة السفير.
دي أول مرة يبقى مؤتمر العلاج الطبيعي يحضروا سفراء، والنهارده كمان معانا سفير آخر. سيادة السفير إيفان جوكل هيتكلم عن Physiotherapy is another bridge between Egypt and Czech. تفضل.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I was supposed to have a PPT presentation here. I still don't see it. If there is, I will comment on. If it's not, then excuse my improvisation. First thing, ambassadors normally talk to the crowds, but normally it's the diplomats, the civil society, but not so much to the professionals. So I found it quite challenging to meet you, and again, thank you, Mr. President, for inviting me here. Actually, from the point of view of my curriculum in Egypt, it's kind of logical step, because after being received by His Excellency President Sisi here in the palace, my first meeting was after this was with Dr. Khaled Kafar, the Minister of Health. At that time, we identified 3 sectors of cooperation between Czech Republic and Egypt. It was oncology, it was telemedicine, and it's nursing. And actually, based on my personal experience, I think that physiotherapy might be the 4th pillar, but I will get to it later. Just allow me thank you very much. Allow me at the beginning just to say something very generally about our relationship, because Czechoslovakia, my former country, it's in every exercise book, and it's quite well known from its history because of delivery of the weapons and of training Egyptian generals. And of course, for the diplomats, it's always a challenge to link the history with the future. The present part, let's say, of cooperation of Czech Republic in Egypt is that we are 10 million people's country, having every year 400,000 to 500,000 tourists to Egypt. So it's one of the most important countries for us in terms of tourism. No one actually knows that in Al-Sun is the only university in Africa and Middle East where 200 Egyptians have been trained in Czech language, and some of them, they are studying and using Czech language to be doctors in Charles University in Prague. So there are some present links of cooperation, of course, but what I see as the future of our cooperation is to have Czech hospitals, Czech therapy centers, and to exchange the knowledge between 2 sides. And I have to say that I'm not speaking only out of the theory, but also with a practical experience which I experienced here in Egypt. Actually, shortly after my arrival to Egypt, we were for a holiday with my wife, and there she suffered a brain stroke. Alhamdulillah, she recovered, but we needed to have a therapy. And we were deciding either to stay in the Czech Republic or go to Egypt, because especially after the brain stroke, you need to recover your balance, you need to have a pain management, you need to start speaking actually from the scratch. And normally you need to get 3 or 4 specialists for this. We finally decided to go to Egypt, and actually we found here one specialist who could manage all 3 disciplines in one session. It was Dr. Naumann. I'm very thankful to him. And what was actually the coincidence was that when we asked for the secret of his medicine, so to say, was that he is kind of ambassador of Czech neurologic school of Dr. Vladimir Janda, who was a quadriplegic and who was the founder of the modern Czech physiotherapy. But of course, in the time of Czechoslovakia, what was more on the podium, it was the Soviet school. So Prague school was kind of underground school developing all over the world. And of course, Dr. Naumann will tell you more, but just for you to understand why I think that physiotherapy will become a fourth pillar of our cooperation is my personal experience. So even let me say that we can talk about physiotherapy as the bridge. As I also said, I don't want to challenge you too much with general speeches about the Czech Republic. So maybe instead of long talks, let me just present two Czech companies who are relevant, I think, to your professional focus. One of them is company Medin, which is very traditional expert and producer manufacturer in terms of prosthetics, in terms of 3D implants. And this is one of the companies which we actually have already presented to Egyptian expert. So whatever you think that might be helpful to be relevant in terms of different kinds of implants from different kinds of, let's say, medically relevant materials, we would be happy to connect you with the experts of the company. Another area which I think is the future not only of the medicine but of generally our common future is the digitalization, and company VR Medical is very much focused in the modern way of physiotherapy using virtual reality, and the company is called VR Medical. They are software developer. They are, how to say, worldwide relevant, having a practice in the biggest Czech hospital in Prague. They have a close cooperation with Oxford University and also in the hospital with the neighboring Germany. In my view, this is something which also can further improve health of patients like my wife, like all those who suffered strokes and other damages. And just to conclude my presentation, just allow me to show you a short video to see how the company works with the patients in the hospitals. This is perhaps the idea to support the future of Czech-Egyptian cooperation, which should be also based on innovation and new approaches to rehabilitation. And of course, the ambassadors are here and there, but the embassies are staying. On the picture, you see the landmark building of our embassy in Doi. And any of you who would like to be in contact just because of what you saw, to get in touch with our companies, or just to come up with the ideas how to move further our cooperation, please don't hesitate to contact my assistant, Monica Osama. She is half Egyptian, so she can speak both Arabic and English. So once again, thank you very much for inviting me here. I would be gladly following part of your conference, and I'm really looking forward to continue our cooperation. Shukran.